You're lucky that you have the opportunity to sort of be at the forefront of everything that's related to technology. Tell us about some of the top trends that you're seeing in the IT industry.
Well, cybersecurity always seems to be the overwhelming trend that we see, and coming off the SolarWinds hack that just happened recently, it'll be interesting to see what kinds of changes that brings. The government is looking at this, they're holding hearings, but a lot of times those don't end up in anything. I remember when the Equifax breach, which was one of the biggest well-known breaches in the US, which exposed millions and millions of people's information. I thought that might be a little bit of a watershed moment, but it didn't turn out to be. So we'll see what happens with SolarWinds, because it was different in that they weren't monitoring traffic that was going back and forth between these known applications. So everybody's worried about this perimeter defense model of cybersecurity, and then evaluating everything based on these known signatures of certain threats, whether it's malware or phishing or other things like that, being able to detect those. But when you have something that's happening between applications that you're not paying attention to because you think they're okay, does that really change the model? So I could see that zero tolerance networking model, maybe that becomes a major trend in the cybersecurity space in terms of the way people are defending themselves, that they're monitoring traffic between applications of all sorts, so they don't discriminate traffic. And we've started to do that with some of ours, and I know some of our board members have talked about this as well. We had a call just recently where this topic came up. So we've been asked to discuss some of these SolarWinds. We've written editorials about it and talked about this, but I think the zero tolerance, the zero, don't trust anything, it's zero trust is real, I think is what it's called, not tolerance, but it's zero trust. So don't trust anything. Make sure that you're looking at all. So I think that could become a major trend going forward, or a requirement for companies to begin behaving that way. Some of the other things are just still up in the air. We have so many of these things that are out there, whether they're autonomous vehicles, AI, machine learning, AR, VR. We need to hit some major inflection points on those, because we're still in that period where a lot of those technologies could leapfrog the current innovations the next day. Someone could think they're really on top of the world with AI, then someone could come up with an innovation tomorrow that could make everything before that look kind of silly. So I'm not sure where the trends will come out of that, other than the continuing use of those in situations where they've been tried and true, whether that's in customer support, whether that's in the finance industry, looking at modeling out different risk scenarios for different kinds of borrowers where they've really adopted that. You've just seen recently an IBM announcement that they were stepping back from the healthcare space with IBM Watson because they hadn't been able to find a good business model there, but they're continuing to use it in other areas. It's proven really well at augmenting what humans are doing, but not replacing it entirely, because we just haven't been able to develop the systems. We need a lot more computing power for some of those things to really work. So does quantum computing really begin to take a strong foothold? We've seemed to have gone in fits and starts on that. But the business models for these have to emerge, or the products and services really never develop from some of these. So whether it's autonomous vehicles, talking about delivering product by drones. I mean, Amazon's been talking about that now for 3 or 4 years, being able to do that at the same time they're building out all their other trucks and planes and stuff to deliver their products. I think from the augmented reality and virtual reality, it's going to take a major introduction from a company like Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon, of a device that's wearable, or something that has a long battery life, has a lot of computing power, that is inexpensive, for those technologies to really take off. I've played with all the Quest headsets and the Oculus headsets over time to see how those things work, and they're fun and they're great, but you still have to wear this heavy headset on your face. It's not really that convenient to use. It's fun for games, but applications haven't really been developed for that. I think augmented reality is slightly different, because the outside world can come in and you're just kind of laying things over the top of it. Apple keeps talking about these glasses that they're going to bring to market, and we'll see when those come. So I think for now, it's all about cloud. It's all about cybersecurity. It's all about being able to make sure that you're using the SaaS cloud world as effectively as you can in your business. I think these major trends have been put a little bit on hold by the pandemic, and we just have to see, will the business models actually emerge for some of these things? Because we've seen lots of technologies come over time where the business models never actually developed, and so those technologies didn't go anywhere.